All right. Netflix just lost $14 billion in value. What the fuck? And that's only the start. Amiibo-Gated music, one of the worst Skyrim ports we've ever seen, and fans now questioning, is Nintendo finally slipping? Are they finally going off a cliff? This isn't about one bad decision. This is about whether Nintendo's old playbook is still works in modern gaming industry. All right, so let's just calm down because that was heavily that was heavy. You know, no, you don't see Nintendo and $14 billion lost overnight. That just doesn't happen. But before the comics explode, let's be clear: this isn't a Nintendo hate video. I want to put that out there. I know we have a little track record, but that's not hate. We're just calling it like it is. We're very objective.
Yeah.
Very objective now, okay? This is a pattern episode because losing $14 billion doesn't happen off one bad tweet or one bad night. You've got market value wiped out, Amiibo-Gated music that feels tone deaf, and somehow Skyrim running worse now than it ever did a decade ago? Nah. That don't happen. Sum up.
Right now, the problem is Nintendo loses $14 billion in market value. The Amiibo locking in-game music, behind the paywall, and Skyrim. I mean, this game been ported so much you can play it on refrigerator. Nintendo's flagship new console is the worst port yet. Together, these signal a growing disconnect between Nintendo and the core audience. So we're gonna tackle this $14 billion. It reflects investors' anxiety over Switch 2 transition, hardware expectations versus pure stagnation, not innovation. Because baby, Nintendo don't innovate. They just sell you the old thing with a new wrapper. That's their MO. Nintendo stock is sensitive to hardware mishaps, perceived consumer backlash, and third-party execution. Right now, third parties are struggling on this Switch 2. It is only Nintendo's core franchises and games that's really hitting it. And the young people who may not know, that's how the Wii U failed. Because if you don't have the third parties there leading the charge while you get your first in line, now and ever when games are taking forever to get out and get together, this feels anti-consumer, out of step with modern expectations, especially bad for a franchise built on atmosphere. Nintendo's music or original scores for their games are highly praised and sought after, so much so Nintendo copyright strikes anyone on YouTube that uploads it. Now they have their own Nintendo music that they're trying to promote to make what? More money. This is a bad look. Metroid fans are older, loyal, less tolerant of micro monetizations as a younger audience. Locking music doesn't enhance gameplay, doesn't add value, and it feels exploitative. It damages goodwill for a long-awaited title. Skyrim on Switch 2, worst fucking port. I mean, that game is over a decade old. How do you not have this run properly on your newer system when, what can I say it again? Refrigerators run the damn game. Criticism centers on minimal upgrades, poor performance relative to hardware claims, re-release fatigue. And that was not me stuttering. That's me literally saying that's how many times this goddamn game has been ported. People are tired of this shit now. Lack of effort or optimization. It feels like a checkbox cash grab, no respect for player history with the game. But their bigger problem is Nintendo's complacency. Nintendo was leaning on legacy IPs, nostalgia, and brand loyalty. Let me tell you something. That only gets you so far in this game. The price of everything is going up, including game development. Nintendo is not immune to these. Instead of consumer-first decisions, modern content standards, meaningful hardware showcases, they do whatever the hell they want. The message comes across, hey, we don't give a fuck, just buy it. Investor versus consumer tensions. Investors see risk, backlash, stalled growth. Consumers, they see gimmicks, paywalls, lazy third-party support. Pensions explains $14 billion valuation hit. Nintendo isn't collapsing. I'm not saying that. We're not saying that. But it is drifting. The monetization decisions feels tone deaf. And that's not just with That's not just with Skyrim or the system. That's with the games. You're coming out with $80 games, $70 games. The Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. No reason that game should be $70. $70 hairs? You could have put that out for $25 each, so making it $50. They chose not to. The danger isn't failure. It's losing trust while assuming loyalty is infinite.
Preach.
I kick it to you, Trees.
Preach. Listen, another bomb drop. Let's listen. Nintendo, baby, your time, I'm not saying it's up, but baby, you getting some clinks in the armor. I'm seeing some cracks in the shield. Oh, people getting tired of your shit. Yeah, listen, my cousin went through a lot, so let me just go piece by piece. The $14 billion wipeout, that is alarming when you look at Nintendo and their history. And Nintendo, I said many times, they're very stubborn. They very are tunnel vision. They don't care about third party. I mean, but I will say this: after watching the Game Awards show, it seems like they're trying to make more and more effort to have things ported to them. Like we said, there's a rumor that they're trying to get GTA 6 ported to them. Don't know how that's possible, but I think they are seeing the landscape of gaming and how they're kind of falling behind. Now, all these ports. Now, is it the people whose games are at fault for the trash product, or is it just because of Nintendo Switch 2, even though it's more powerful than the one, limited capabilities? Like we reported in our Let's Talk About the Xbox. Hey, Dell was complaining about supporting the S while making shit for the X. Just because they didn't have the same power output, and it bottlenecks their capabilities of their games that can be function on that system. So I just think there's never been a history in time where either the consumer was pissed at Nintendo or their investors was pissed at Nintendo. But I think right now, I don't think they've ever been in unison at the same time. And that is the biggest issue. These companies are dictated by shareholders. And if the shareholders, and that's what this means, shareholders and consumers are nervous at the same time. That's how you get $14 billion wiped. Now, I'm not saying they can bounce back. It can't bounce back. It can recover. They can announce some things and get the price back up. All that's possible. But I'm just saying, this seems like a crack in the armor, crack in the shield. The market isn't saying Nintendo is doomed, like my cousin said. It's saying this margin for era is gone. So if you're putting out a product, you ain't got no margin in era. That shit needs to hit. So you up here charging all this money for that Pokemon game? Now you creating the era in the margins. What are you doing? And as Nintendo continue to do money hungry things, very exploit their consumers, that margin of error is just going to continue to grow and grow. Because a lot of people, like we said, $70 for a cartridge. And then even with the Metroid Prime 4, my biggest issue was that you're charging me $70 for 13 hours of gameplay. Where the value in that? There is no value in that. Get the fuck out of here. For me to drive around an empty desert to pick up green crystals? What are we talking about? Yeah, that $14 billion in value being wiped, yes, it can bounce back. Yes, it can recover. Yes, they can do something to like get it back up. But I just think this is one of the first dominoes to fall. And it is not in Nintendo's favor, honestly. That whole Amiibo-Gated music monetization, a lot of people feel like they crossing the motherfucking line. And who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Like, people are pissed in Twitter and on YouTube about that. Like, oh my God. Fans reacting music isn't gameplay content, which, yeah, it ain't. Amiibos are supposed to be optional collectibles. This turned nostalgia into a toll booth. And I cannot disagree anymore. Like, who do you think you are? Fans aren't mad about money. I mean, apparently with the Pokemon, fans are willing to spend money on Nintendo. They're mad about being nickel and dime for things that used to be free. And a lot of people might have been born at night. Them motherfuckers weren't born last night. Like, we just know we bought a game, as said a couple months ago, and you didn't charge me for music. You wasn't monetizing for no fucking music. Like, the precedent that sets in gaming is so fucking disgusting. So disgusting. Nintendo need to be ashamed of themselves. And this whole Skyrim port disaster, listen, I think that's going to continue to happen, honestly. The Switch 2 power output is very, very limited. We know that. This is no secret. And like my cousin said, it's been ported many times, and maybe they rushed it. I don't know. But I have a fear that as more and more things are ported to the Switch 2, I think that this is going to continue to happen. Now, for first party, I think they'll be okay. Like, apparently Metroid Prime 4 was very stable on Switch 1, but that's first party. Now, third party, I don't know how dedicated they are. Like, this is a game we've made how many times, imported how many times? You mean to tell me it can't work on your shit? Now, I don't really know the relationship or how that goes about porting things. Maybe somebody in the comments can clarify that for me. But yeah, this is just a lot of stuff stacking at the same time, and I think Nintendo needs a wake-up call, because they they've been in La La Land since the Switch won and its unexpected success. So they've been getting away with shit that Xbox and PlayStation frankly couldn't get away with. Why? Because Nintendo pulls on nostalgia. They keep selling you Zelda games, they keep selling you Mario World and Mario Karts and all that. I just think they've gotten too comfortable. And when a gaming company comes too comfortable, they get real lax with the products. They think they can squeeze more and more money out of you. I think $70 for a cartridge is already outrageous. You did not know, bro. What's their profit margins? Probably like 80, 85, 90%. The cartridge ain't shit, and most of the time it's just a key for the digital library. Like, I don't know, Nintendo's been fucking up a long time with me. Like I said, I stopped supporting Nintendo financially way long ago. Like, I didn't even buy my Switch one. Like, it was given to me. Only game I bought on my Switch one was Stardew Valley. So, that's just how I feel. You can say I'm biased. I just think it's about time that Nintendo fans draw a fucking line in the sand. Nintendo gonna have to make some shake, baby. Make some shake. Cause I mean, Microsoft and Xbox have had their time, been in the shitter in consumers' eyes, and PlayStation has been getting some hits by consumers too. And I think this is Nintendo's time, and rightfully so. I feel like they've been getting away with murder for the longest. But let me end this question for the viewers, and you can comment below. Would you rather Nintendo monetize and risk losing its identity, or stay the same old and fall behind? Now, when I say that, I mean, as you look around, yeah, monetization has been an issue across the board. Is that the answer for their longevity with the Switch 2? Or should they just go back and just really stand 10 toes down and say, hey, our first party, it's our priorities, our really own priorities. If we get some ports, cool, whatever. Hope they cross their fingers and hope it works. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. But I just think it's about time that Nintendo get their shit together. And like I said, coming up on some hard times financially, and they better. I don't want to see another Wii U situation, because that was bad.
Wholeheartedly agree. We're not blinded. We call them out as we call everyone else out. They are not immune to being held accountable, but people, for whatever reason, seems to prop Nintendo as if they are some type of gaming messiah or savior, and they really are not. They're not. You can say all you want. Oh, they saved gaming in the 80s. No one gives a shit about that anymore. That was like 40 years ago. No one cares. Talking about today's time and today's money and today's problems. I told you all that mindset of, well, they saved gaming. You sound like the 40-year-old guy constantly reminiscing. I was high school prom king. No one cares. No one cares. That's then. We're talking about now. They need to get themselves together. This is everybody else, because I'm going to say this real fast. I'm not going to go on a rant. The Switch and Switch 2 have both launched with limited memory in the hardware, requiring the consumer to purchase expandable memory on their own in order to enjoy their consoles. If Microsoft and Nintendo did that, people would have a shit show. They will be raising pitchforks. How dare they? Nintendo does it. Oh, it gives us options. That's bullshit. And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?